So last time we beat the Gundam boss and we got the enchanted amulet, and then Marino, this guy, he steals it and we have to go fight him. Marino has a lot of very quick attacks. If you do not parry these, you will probably take a lot of damage. You can still shield them, but definitely learn to parry them. It is going to make this fight a lot easier. And if you mess up, you lose your shield. So I don't actually succeed in this, but I do believe you can parry all 3 hits. But if you can't parry all 3 hits, just hold your shield and it will take the rest of the damage. And you still keep the charge up on your ability. So at this point of the run, we've got the Slime Hammer. We've got a bunch of bonus damage. We're hitting pretty hard. So using the Slam attack is the best option for a single target here, or clumped up targets that are right next to each other. After this fight, we'll be moving on to the ice area, Season, which will have a toy factory and Santa Claus. Okay, I just need one more hit here. And there we go. And we get the amulet back. Moving on. At this point in the game, if you haven't talked to a bunch of the NPCs, you've probably missed out on a few items, some quests, some experience. Most of this is not essential, but it's still good. So we go back, we turn in the item, and then a Fae shows up and tells you about some stuff. As you can probably guess, I'm not a big story-oriented gamer. I love my mechanics. Story is very second place to me. This game also doesn't take itself too seriously. There's puns everywhere, there's kind of jokes on other games and references, and I enjoy that. So you can get more potions, up to 3. This is the first of the quests. I did not record myself trying this, but it was quite difficult for me to deal with this quest with a two-hander. I don't recall it being super difficult in the past. So if you haven't already, definitely take a trip to the west, talk to this person, and find the lost chicken. It's down below a rock. You can corral the chickens by basically just walking behind them, and they will move in the direction away from you, so you can guide them towards a location. You don't actually have to corral the chickens here. I just kind of did it out of habit, so you can just run straight to the other chicken. That's the actual quest. So this chicken's behind a rock. You need the boar to hit the rock with a charge, and you're good to go. Chickens can be hit by enemies, which will cause them to run around when they get hit, just like you hit them. And once you get this chicken up here, you're good to go. There's another talent point. Then if you talk to this person, they will give you your first pet collector item, which will allow you to, since I have an empty slot at auto-equipped there. Now you play a little bit of a DDR, Guitar Hero kind of thing. If you do good enough, then you capture it as a pet. Pets just get passive bonuses. You can feed them, you can change their color, you can name them. And you can have multiple different pets. This is just the first one available right off the bat. He's our little bun bun. I do find them to be somewhat obnoxious when you're fighting enemies because they will look like an enemy, kinda. So using an off color or using the hide option is best. So if you feed them, they level up. Every time they level up, it's harder to level them up. The bonuses aren't crazy good, but they are valuable if you just need that little push. Okay, so I'm actually jumping back from later in the playthrough. I just wanted to talk more about the pets because I kind of missed a major point here. If you talk to this guy right here, he will give you an apple to capture a slime. And after that, you can buy food from him to feed your pets. And the food, of course, just increases their stats like normal. This is a good way to just gold sync. And also just to talk about the stats, while they are mild, they're not useless. So it's not uncommon to be able to get somewhere around level 10, maybe level 11, if you're kind of focused on your pet just eating everything in one stat. You might have to fish a bit, you might have to buy a bunch of food. There's just a bunch of different ways to do it. The stats themselves are still pretty good when they start stacking up. So 2% health does scale with other 2% health bonuses as far as I'm aware. The energy bonus is 2 flat, but really it's just 2% again. The damage bonus is 1% magic, 1% physical, which is really 2% again. And then the critical strike chance is additive, so you can work towards more and more critical strike in general. It is only 1, but you can get closer and closer to kind of a 50% mark. Then lastly, the speed stat is, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best stats here. You can get a lot of health, you can get a lot of other stuff elsewhere. The speed stat here being 2%, it's 2% for both attack and cast. So it doesn't matter who you are, kind of like the damage stat. But the 2%, that's used for regular attacks as well as charge ups. So if you're just trying to get one more attack in, having 10% attack speed, that's actually pretty good. So of course, no game is complete without fishing. Here we have a pond. You can catch fish in it. If you catch all the different types of fish out of a pond, you'll get a prize. And the fish can be fed to your pets. And we got a tin can for completing this pond. Next up, I just want to show that you can go into areas that you're not supposed to. This area is not off limits. It's just south of Marino's mansion. You can farm this creature for experience. You can see our experience bar up there. And you can farm it for the card. This creature gives the shield one more hit before it breaks, unless the attack would naturally break it anyway. And you can see I leveled up, so it did give quite a bit of experience there. Okay, moving on with the story. If you head west, and specifically northwest of this area, you'll talk to Mrs. Claus here, and she'll give you a quest to clean out the toy factory, which has been taken over. The toy factory is a pretty simple side quest area. You'll fight frostlings and puzzles and presents and gifts. Yes, those are two different enemies. And there we go, we got another card pretty quickly there too. 5% discount at the store. If you get the other card, it gives the chance to drop a present, which can then be opened to reveal a random item, usually of relatively low value, but this room can be kind of interesting to farm. It fills up really quickly when you're not in the quest mode. There'll be bombs everywhere just going off, and there'll be presents and packages and whatnot just chasing you down. The room will spawn so many enemies that you can just start bouncing them off of each other. It's pretty fun. It's a fun little farming area, I think. I've used this in the past to farm gold and levels. I'm not going to use it for this character. So you can kind of see a little bit of my build going on here as I level up. I'm going to jump to the mini-boss. Just a room full of trains and bombs. I found the best way to deal with this room is generally to just kind of walk towards the middle, see where the empty spot is, and then walk towards one of the empty spots. The NPC is technically dealing with some strong puzzle issues. Very difficult puzzle. Moving on, in the next room we have the Enraged Toy Machine. The Enraged Toy Machine is a fun little fight, not too hard. It just spawns presents. They just run at you and do their normal thing. It also spawns rows of explosives. Will also spawn trains that will go through the room. And eventually it will spawn trains with switches that allows you to guide the train into the toy machine's mouth, causing it to take a massive amount of damage. You can still hit the machine the entire time, but the trains going into its mouth are definitely the fastest way to take it down. But the trains going to its mouth will take something like 25% of its health. So you can get just one or two of those to work and it'll just end. So that's a new shield. It's guaranteed to drop from the boss. It has a special effect where blocking with it grants 10 energy, and perfect block grants 20 energy. And then we'll go back and turn this in, and that'll give us access to the next area. That'll be it for this episode. In the next episode, we will be dealing with the Temple of Seasons. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.